I'm working on this cute Snowman Through the Year calendar quilt today, and it is completely fused applique. So all of the applique has just been fused on. And you have to kind of be careful because if any of the pieces come up, you've got to be careful when you roll. So I've got to get it nailed down. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to just stitch right on the applique. So I'll bring my machine down, and I'm going to stay right on the edge, about 1/8 of an inch in on that applique. Just following it around like this. You could change colors if that bothered you to have, like the camel color of thread is what I'm using right now. And so you could change colors on that applique if you wanted to. But I'm just going to use that same color because I kind of like that effect. It's a little bit more of a homespun look, even on the white. There we go. And a little bit on the vest. And I'm going to follow that line down and come right over here, follow the tree down. I like to just keep going as much as I can with continuous lines instead of stopping and starting. I don't like to stop and start like you. I like to do continuous. So on the tree, we're going to make a stem and then come down and put just sort of not a half circle, but a little bit of a curved line to make this tree look a little bit more real. There's lots of techniques you could put in this tree. It doesn't have to look real. But for this one, I think to go with this December look, this looks great. Kind of like a Christmas tree. Come back up, and I love a little bit of a contrasting thread in this tree too. Looks great. There we go. Just back and forth. Really, really fun to decorate the trees and on top of the applique. And you can see this is really nailing down this applique for me. And then I'll follow this up, and I'm going to do some meandering around the snowman. And with that, I'm going to put in some little snowflakes. Now, in each one of the months in this calendar quilt, I did a different meandering around that snowman. And I just pulled that from the theme of that month. So this one is snowflakes. And so I'm doing the little loops like that, and they can go the same direction or different directions. And every so often I'll do the snowflake, which is simply you make an X, and then make another one the other direction. So it makes a snowflake like that. I'll have to make sure that I bring this meandering pattern clear down in here. To get out of that, I can just follow the tree up like that. Let's do another snowflake right here. Now when I'm finished with this, I'll probably come back in and just put a little crystal right in the middle of that snowflake, just to make it glisten. That'll be really cute. Okay, and then I'll just wander over to the side so I get over to a seam, and that is where I'm going to put my security stitches so they're completely hidden. And then bring up my thread, so there's my thread tail, which I can throw right there on my shoulder. Now I want to come over and around these little black buttons, I'm just going to do some kind of little design. I think I'll just do some little shells around here, just to kind of make it cute. And it's okay to drag my thread like this if I'm not going to cross that area again with quilting. And I'm not going to cross that area again with quilting, so I can drag my thread, and then I'll come back and cut those threads. But if you do that, you have to remember that you're going to have to cut them on the back of the quilt as well. So that will be one area that I will have to trim. All right. Now I'm going to roll the quilt, and I'm going to complete the border, show you how I'm going to do that. and then I'll be changing thread because I want to come back with a thread and go around this snowman again. Now that we've advanced the quilt, I'm going to start by doing a pinwheel in this square right here. And to do that, you just, now again, I'm not starting in a corner, I'm starting on the side of this square because I don't want to start in a corner. And I will turn my machine on, lock my elbows at my side. I'm going to use my body to do this pinwheel. And you can watch as I use my body. My arms are just an extension of my body, and then back. It's so fun to do this. I love doing it. There we go. So we've completed that design, and we're going to finish the design in the tiny little border that's the little blue border right here that's next to the outer border. And in that one, I decided I would just put a little, almost like a polka dot. So we're going to do a loop, and then the other direction, a loop, something in there that's kind of fun that goes with the theme of the quilt. Oftentimes, quilters will leave a little sashing like this, a little border like this, unquilted. But I really like to put something in it. Of course, it depends on how much quilting you've been doing on the quilt, but I really think that it deserves to have something in it. Okay, now we have an outer border to do, and I want to get my drawing pad because I want to show you what I did with that. Here's my border, and I just wanted to do a patterned meandering, but what I have to do is when I come to this miter, I have to remember that this is going to turn and reach out to the corner and then back. So here I want it completely perpendicular to this line, and here I want it perpendicular to this line. But in the corner, I want it to be on that miter. So that's how we're going to sew it. Start right in here in the seam. I didn't want to disturb this cute fabric in the border. It has words and it's just darling. And so in order to keep the integrity of that fabric, I needed something with texture, but something with an even texture. So this was a perfect design to put out here. And yet it is a lot of quilting. You see how I turn now and I'm going completely horizontal again? Oh, and it goes so fast. Did you see that? Wow. Now with the black thread, I'm going to show you how to do a blanket stitch around this fused applique. But you don't have to have it. It could be real applique and you can do this. It does, you know, by hand or machine. But this one is fused, and so I'm going to make it look like I did this on a domestic machine. I'm going to start right in here like this. We'll put this on automatic on a 12 stitches to the inch. There we go. And then what you actually, if you wanted to be really precise, and I know that there are many of you out there that, you know, that could really love doing this, you could count your stitches. Like you could go 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 over. I just sort of guess at it and just watch as I'm going and space them out that way. But you could make this look just like a machine. So see, you didn't even know these machines would do a blanket stitch. They'll zigzag too. Of course, it's what you make them do. But this looks so cute. And people really wonder if you've done this on the Longarm machine. You could use a heavier thread to do it as well. I'm just using the regular 40 Tex black thread. Look how that is completing that. Now I could have gone and done the blanket stitch around all the applique, but I was a little bit too anxious to get the quilt done to spend the time doing that. I'm going to follow this tree up till I get over to the side here. There we go. But depending on how much time you spent, you know, making the quilt, that might be something that would be worth your time. Now we have only one area left, this little sashing area. And I used a red thread in here, so I'll have to change the thread. But what I wanted to do, and the reason that I used the red thread, was to really pop it out, because this is quite a busy fabric. And I wanted those divisions, it just seemed kind of blended, the whole quilt. So I wanted that thread to really make a difference and divide this calendar quilt into months. And then the design that I chose is a very heavy design as well. So let me change thread and we'll finish it up. Now we have the red thread on, but I want to show you why I chose this design. I love doing this. It's like an elongated figure 8, but down through the middle of that, it almost looks like a crosshatch, where it looks like polka dots on both sides. And if you ever have a sashing or a border that has 3 different fabrics or stripes there, it's a perfect design to put there, because the middle fabric will show off that crosshatch look, while the 2 side fabrics will show a polka dot look. Makes it look like you did a lot of work, and it's really easy. Watch how fast and easy this is. We're starting right here where we had left off. There we go. And I just, when I'm doing it, I make sure that the last one touches. So as it comes along, it's going to touch the last figure 8 as you swing around. Just have it touch your last one. There we go. And it's done. Of course, I'm going to have to write my name on it and sign it. But, and that's with the quilting machine, of course. And then it's ready to go. Wonderful calendar quilt. So you can see how those fun freehand techniques can really speed up your quilting.